Good day, traders. This is Tradesight's Market Preview for Triple Expiration Friday on March 21st, 2014. This is going to be very brief because there's not much to talk about going into a triple expiration day, especially after what we've just had the back 2 days, but we'll do some quick analysis of it anyways, just so you can learn about it for next time. So here's the S&P daily chart. Notice we got down and bounced off of that red static trend line. Holding near the highs, been flat the last 2 days net. That includes the sell-off Tuesday after the Fed, which you'll see a better idea of in the intraday action that I'll show you. There's the NASDAQ 100, also not really in any place particular, as you would expect. Now, the semiconductor index did break out to new highs on Thursday. Biotechs were flat. So that's the daily charts. Remember, for options expiration, and especially triple expiration, when so much money is just fixed to certain prices, you tend to see stocks and everything get stuck to their nearest strike prices, the ones that have the most open interest, depending on which way that open interest sits, and you don't know that part, but it's still important to understand that wherever the biggest open interest is probably where the stock's going to get glued. So for example, on Apple here, we've been watching the 530 level. You can see this whole month, almost every day has touched 530, probably closes very near 530 for expiration. 1200 will be the number probably on Google. I can give you a better idea of how all this works if we switch to the intraday charts. We'll start by looking at the ES. Now, this is the week so far. Is Monday morning we gapped up. We have not filled that gap. Pushed higher immediately, and that was it for Monday. Tuesday we had a nice morning. We gapped up a little and kept going. Wednesday, see at this point, the Tuesday morning, the Fed meeting starts. It's a 2-day meeting, so the market, look how flat it is. That's what you kind of expect a lot of times. Flat all the way until the Fed announcement, and then Yellen's comments kind of spooked the market a little bit about the potential, not that it should have, but for the potential of interest rates coming back up a bit as soon as 6 months after they stop their easing, which could still be forever. So I don't know why the market was so spooked. Unfortunately, this is options expiration week, and it's triple expiration, and what we like to do is look for the options unraveling move, because that's usually the best shot at making money, and that usually happens on the Wednesday. And because that was the day of the Fed announcement, usually the options unravel starts after the first hour's play, and of course the market wasn't about to do anything ahead of the Fed. Then we sold off sharply. Then we come back in the next day, and we're looking for that options unravel move, and again to start after the first hour's play, which is about after this big move up that we had on some of the Philly Fed data that we got. And if anything, we were flat for another 20-30 minutes and then started to roll over. So if there was an indication of movement for options unraveling, it should have been to the downside there, and then we turned back up anyways. Volume did drift off when that downward move started, and usually volume would hold up. So here's my thinking in general, is that the options unraveling move was disguised in all the volume in the sell-off Wednesday after the announcement, the Fed announcement, and in the volume early Thursday morning. And it may have been a little more balanced because the market isn't necessarily up or down for the last month or two. As you saw in the charts, it's fairly stable. The S&P and everything are pretty stable. So there wasn't necessarily a big break between which way the open interest was going to carry us. The other thing that's interesting is that this down and up move puts us right back where we were before the Fed announcement. So if you look at Tuesday coming into the Fed meeting, you get your first hour's push, then you're flat all the way to the Fed, and if you just ignore this down and back up, we're flat right in there. That kind of says to me that that's the range we were going to close in anyways for options expiration. And what that means is that Friday is probably not going to be exciting at all, and we have no economic data at all on Friday to look forward to. Here's a look at Apple just to show you the last week or so. Look at that 530 level and how many times we've reached up and just touched it, touched it, touched it, touched it, touched it, broke above it, came back, touched it, touched it, touched it. You know, that's why what we're talking about, it looks like Apple's going to be glued to 530 for expiration. Here's Google, the 1200 level has been magic for a couple days here. It really isn't doing anything technically. We haven't had any plays in those stocks. You can find this in a lot of the bigger trading stocks. Amazon, you'll probably find the strike price. If you back it out enough, maybe 370 is the number here. You know, Netflix, another big trader for us, looking at maybe that 425 area. Anyways, so a lot of these stocks, the point being, they're already cooked. They're right where they're supposed to be for options expiration. So it makes it hard to expect much from a trading perspective tomorrow. Obviously, there's some things going on in the world, but I don't know if they're going to be enough to push it. If they haven't been able to do so far, this would therefore mean that come next week, with options expired, the whole new quarter's worth of options, futures, and commodities in place, that maybe things can start to move. Usually doesn't happen on the first day back, but maybe on Tuesday. So charts as usual brought to you by eSignal 11. We will be in the lab at least early trading it. And also keep in mind the college basketball tournament started That's a big deal, and often, believe it or not, affects the market and slows it down anyway. So that doesn't help for tomorrow. A lot of people go out to watch the games. So we'll see what it looks like in the morning. Have a great night. Hope to see you.